GT Open continues for the opening meeting of the season here in Portimao, with qualifying 2 ready to set the grid for this afternoon's 60-minute encounter. Yesterday, it was the turn of Greystone GT to kick off their title campaign with victory, with an excellent pit stop that made all the difference during the driver change window to jump the number 9 Get Speed Mercedes. What will we see in this afternoon's race? First of all, we've got to set the grid. The cars already making their way out onto the racetrack for this 25-minute session. We've got different drivers in the cars compared to yesterday, and so that means that we've got some of the likes of Christopher Haase and Ralph Aron as well starting to qualify these cars after Fabi Schiller did so for the number 9 crew yesterday. That should be interesting to see how that changes things in the order, but we're still expecting our pro cars to make their way to the front. But we've got some very rapid Pro-Am cars that could be qualifying for the overall pole position as well. Chris Stevens and George Morgan in the commentary box. And George, what a day for this number 33 crew. Back-to-back wins after their maiden victory at the GT500 Open at Monza.
And breaking the Mercedes trend that has been on show over the last 2 seasons here at Portimao. So McLaren hit the front. And didn't they just do it in style? It all happened during the pit stop phase, and the eager beaver, James Cowell, he had his foot hovering over the accelerator pedal and masterminding his way past the Mercedes pairing of Anthony Bartone and Fabian Schiller. So well done to them. It means that they do take, for now, the championship lead here in the International GT Open, but we're only in the first chapter of what is an 8-part story. It is going to be a phenomenal season ahead, and I'm sure there will be some faces, certainly at Mercedes, are going to be looking to make a big change, obviously factoring in the likes of Fabian Schiller as well as Anthony Bartone, as now we watch and right on board with Carl Bennett and Tommaso Mosca's car. Obviously, they say, of course, to line up this team that have not won a team's title since 2014 here in the International GT Open. They'll be looking to take the crown back. But I've got to say, I was impressed with the pairing of Mosca and, of course, Bennett as well. I thought they looked quite smart yesterday.
Yes, absolutely. The Thai-American driver Carl Bennett at the wheel for this session in the number 51. It's an all-new lineup for AF Corsa's pro effort in the number 51 car after Nicola Marinangeli has moved back into single-seaters on the Formula One support bill. Pro-Am podium yesterday for this car, Alex Fontana and the pseudonym Hash. Second in class, had a great battle with the number 6 Get Speed Mercedes of Aaron Walker and Steve Yance as well. It is Fontana, the pro driver, who is qualifying the car today. So this is definitely one of those contenders for an outright pole position, and this is also the car that was fastest in FP2 on Friday.
Yeah, Hash coming out and saying, leading up to the weekend, I just want to have fun. This is a lot of fun. He had lots of fun yesterday, managing to lay claim to a Class P2. That was a fantastic result for Car Collection.
Absolutely was. Just the one car for Car Collection this year at the moment, after fielding a pro effort as well last year. We have seen a few teams downsizing, but the quality of the entries is certainly very high, and also we still have the same number of cars because we've also attracted a number of new teams to the grid as well. The likes of Mertel Motorsport, who are making their GT3 debut this weekend. Elite Motorsport, the same. 5th yesterday for Elite Motorsport, the two Toms, Tom Empson and Tom Leben. And Tom Leben as well, he was driving around cars like he was in his 100th GT3 start, not his first.
It was a tremendous outing for Elite, and obviously we know that Chloe Grant will be watching on, I'm sure, in support of Tom Leben, who makes the move from made the move from single-seater racing, competing in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine with the Arden team. Now they're moving across to the world of GT4 in the European Series, and I must say, took to it like a duck to water, and now moving up again into GT3 class alongside, with Tom Leben and obviously Tom Ebsen working together and fighting it out here on this circuit in Portimao. Gave a grand account to their first occasion here in the International GT Open, so great to see them back and performing. Another car that's performing as well, and this man put it in an impressive stint here. Easterland Racing Audi, defending champions, Christopher Haase back behind the wheel as well. And after Simon Riker teed up the first stint perfectly, obviously with a little bit of a helping hand from the safety car as well, but as soon as the changeover period opened up, Haase was left to attack and the hair didn't half fly.
Exactly, and of course the car that was struggling a little bit on Friday, and I went to go and see them afterwards, like, oh, you told me you were having really big struggles. It's like, well, we were, actually. So as much as the result would suggest otherwise, it seems to be that they're still not 100% happy. They're hoping that the wind has died down, because that seems to be what's causing their issues.
That was what he actually said a lot. Everything was centered around the breezes. Now he goes third fastest. But the team came here with very little expectations of a win here this weekend at Portimao. They know it's a Mercedes track, but they said any major point score in position would be a win for us, and it certainly was, I think, in their mind. Laventia Ravesh coming up towards the line, going second fastest. Lucas Dunner is currently at the top of the screen, has currently gone, in accordance to our timing screen, purple in the first two sectors with a 31.9 in the first sector, 31.984 in the middle sector. So really impressive outing so far for Lucas Dunner to get the session off in the right vein, and indeed crossing the line does improve once more. So the track's starting to ramp up now, and plenty more green sectors coming in because Haas is improving once more.
Yeah, so we should be seeing all three Motorpark cars running near the front of this session, with the number 65, this car, the yellow wing mirrored and headlighted car. Lucas Dunner, the pro in the ProAm lineup, with Heiko Neumann stepping up from the AM category. He was racing with Timo Rompfkahl for the last couple of years, won the championship in 2023 with Timo, the team boss at Motorpark, but now stepping up into the ProAm category for this year with Lucas Dunner, who we saw in the pro car last year. So it's three cars for Motorpark, two in Pro, one in Pro-Am, but all three of them should be fairly rapid in this session, and indeed they're all in the top four.
On the top four,
at the moment. Laventia Ravesh at second, and Robert Visoyu also fastest in the first sector at the moment. So running strong at the moment. Alex Fontana back out onto the racetrack. Here's Artem Petrov, who's just done a personal best in the first sector. Petrov in his second year now with the Oregon GT3 crew, but he's lost a lot of time in that middle sector, so this is not going to be the lap for Petrov. The 63 that he shares with Antoine Dogcan, who's in his first proper full year of GT3 racing, having done a smattering of outings in endurance last year. This is Robert Visoyu in the number 13, the Romanian driver coming out of retirement. It's been a 7-year hiatus since he hung up his helmet and gloves at the end of the 2017 Formula 2 campaign. But at the end of last year decided he wanted to get back racing, did an LMP3 race in France, showed that he'd lost no speed at all, or his racecraft, and Visoyu third fastest at the moment. So it's Motorpark 1, 2 and 3 in the early stages, but Ralph Aaron throwing his hat into the ring as well, the Mercedes Works driver, the 82 that he shares with debutant Marcelo Ramirez, the Mexican driver, and Paul Aaron, now a full-on Mercedes factory driver for this year, having been promoted from junior status with the German marque. He joined in 2023 on his return to full-time racing. I mean, spent a few years as a team manager at Prema on their World Endurance program, and for me, I'm so staggered that someone's been able to step away from racing for that long and then come back at the level he's been able to do.
Yeah, no, he's come in really, really strong. Another team that have been strong this weekend. Obviously, we speak about the Mercedes growth. I mean, we've got to also welcome back Dominic Baumann, who I have to say gave a grand account in his own right. Pro-Am winner actually yesterday alongside Valentin Pierberg, who also knows all about success here in the International GT Open. Well, they've just found 400s in that middle sector, and a green improvement, personal best. Not quite as good as the first sector they managed to muster, but Ralph Aaron back again and hitting the purple so far in the first two sectors as they now stretch down through towards line. Here comes Dominic Baumann. Now let's see where he situates himself. To the top he will go with a 140.779 and over 1.5 tenths clear. Now here comes Ralph Aaron, and being given plenty of breathing room by Dexter Muller on the right-hand side there as they come down out of turn 14. Now the gallop corner to come, and let's see if Ralph Aaron can top Dominic Baumann's time at the top of the tree. 2 tenths plus found here from Ralph Aaron. A green middle sector, a green lap thus far. Can he go higher out of sector 3? Ralph Aaron not quite enough to topple Baumann, but second fastest. Now next up comes Alex Fontana, 3.5 tenths to the good. We'll be looking for a little bit more car collection with only one car this time, and Fontana enlists that car to the top of the tree.
So Pro-Am cars 1, 2 and 4 at the moment, and I'm sure Baumann will have a little fist bump to himself, being ahead of factory driver Ralph Aaron. Both SBS cars this year running in Pro-Am, and Baumann, of course, the Pro in the Pro-Am lineup number 20, with Valentin Pierberg returning to the SBS team for this year after a year away at Get Speed. And then found himself battling with that car in the race yesterday. Here is Baumann, the Austrian driver, who we know can fight for overall pole positions. He was with Mikael Pitamba last year. They managed to collect a few podiums, didn't quite manage to get that overall win that was promised. But Baumann already back to winning ways in the Pro-Am category, and now throwing his hat into the ring for outright pole position here as well. Needs to find a little bit of time. Might just get a cheeky little toe here from the Grupo Prom Mercedes in front of him. He reduces the arrears, but it's still just over a quarter of a second still to go. Fontana is still finding time, though. Fastest in the first two sectors on this lap alone. And the car collection Porsche is firing on all cylinders, all 6 cylinders at the moment, as Fontana brings it out of the penultimate corner and will hit the bump in the middle of the Galp corner, and you see a little puff of smoke there as the bodywork hit the deck. We saw the Mercedes sparking through there earlier in the session. Fontana to the line, just misses out actually, slightly slower in the final sector.
Yeah, also Alexei Nesov popping into third fastest as well for car number 18. Rolf Aaron now placing himself in behind, improving again ahead of Lucas Dunner, Levente Ravesh. Now we're seeing the Motorpark cars almost drop down now. We got the highest one, which is Lucas Dunner, currently sat in 5th, of course, back in the pits, looking to obviously put a fresh set of boots on perhaps, or just to reassess prior to going out. Same can be said for Ravesh. James Kell moves into 9th fastest. Yesterday's race winner, coupled with Dean McDonald after McDonald's great stint to open up the day. And then obviously James Kell during the pit stop managing to get out quicker than the Get Speed car belonging to Fabian Schiller and Anthony Bartone. As now we watch as the car collection Porsche goes purple again in the first sector. That's a 31.449. Fontana is digging for extra time and is looking for delta upon delta, and he's got a little bit of traffic in front of him. That's Dexter Muller in the Carbon SBS Performance Mercedes, but you know, kindly moves alongside Michele Rugolo, AM winner yesterday as well, alongside Gino Forgione, pops into 11th fastest and highest of the AM runners thus far as well, just behind Robert Visoyu, who still sits in 10th place and just in front of Tom Empson as well. But here comes Alex Fontana, green again, personal best in that middle sector with a 31.860. This is a good looking lap here from Fontana, looking to increase the deficit between himself and Dominic Baumann that currently sits just below 0.3 of a second. What can the Swiss driver do this time? Very high achievements recorded on his part through the course of his racing career, and all his experience has certainly come to the fruition of car collection in the past. And once more for Hash as well, as Fontana does improve a little bit more this time, just under 3 1/4 tenths.
So down to a 1:43.61 ahead of Dominic Baumann. Haas has put the East Island Racing Audi, the reigning champions, drivers' champions, into 3rd. Great lap from Alexei Nesov that you mentioned there. Of course, that's the guest-entered Dynamic GT Porsche. So Porsche's 1 and 4 at the moment. Ralph Aaron just behind. And so Fontana finally letting the pace cool a little bit, but he's still actually the first sector was still pretty impressive, but now he's backed out of the
he's taking
lap.
A break from purple laps.
Exactly. Here's Michele Rugolo, the AM pole sitter provisionally in the number 21 AF Corsa Ferrari. AM winners yesterday. Rugolo, a silver class driver, as he's bound for pit lane, but new rule for 2025. Previously, the AM championship was for all bronze lineups, but we've tweaked the rule. If you're a silver class driver over the age of 40, you can opt to be in the AM category, and Rugolo at 42 years of age definitely qualifies for that one. Haase here in the final sector. This has been a good lap. It's fastest in the middle sector for the now former Audi Works driver. His contract with the German marque coming to an end at the conclusion of last year. So nice for him to go out with a bang on the GT Open title. Still seemed to be working his tyres, though, through the last couple of corners. So I don't know how quick. Well, it's still a blinding lap and reduces the deficit to Fontana. It's just over a quarter of a second. So Fontana, Haase, Baumann, the top three with 10 minutes to go. Yeah,
absolutely. Good lap from Christopher Haase. I'm sure you'll be looking, though, to rein in that near 0.3 of a second gap, though, to Alex Fontana. But you're talking about three sensational drivers currently sat in the top three at the moment. Dominic Baumann, who was also partnered up with Michael Pitamba in the past. And when we look back at performances between Baumann and Pitamba, we can't help but look back to Barcelona, where they put in that phenomenal defensive stint to close out the race. And credit to Pitamba, he'll say it to you as well. One of his best performances ever in a GT3 race car, and Baumann was there to support him through it as well, and now also partnering his teammate Valentin Pierberg for today's race too as well. Just a fantastic utilitarian is Dominic Baumann.
Now racing in LMP3 is Michael Pitamba. As well. This is Christian Kozlowski, the number 5 Olymp Ferrari. Their sister car, the 777, now running Ferrari 296 machinery as well, after waiting on delivery of their car and using Audi's R8 in the meantime. So Kozlowski up to the line, usually one of the fastest bronze drivers, and proving it right there, was 7th overall, a second away from the outright pole position time at the moment, and that's a blinding lap from Kozlowski. And of course, the Gran Turismo movie told the story of Jan Mardenborough, left out Kozlowski's element in that race to reality program, the Nissan GT Academy, whatever it was called back then as well. So 7th fastest for the AM provisional pole sitter as it stands. Ralph Aaron here in a little bit of traffic, trying to get some clear space on his outlap to build up towards another one in that number 86 car. Get speed with 2 pro cars this season.
We also have Christian Kozlowski back in as well. Stanislav Jedlinski had quite an eventful day yesterday, getting caught up heading up towards Samson Corner, coming out of turn 7. Well, this time it's Kozlowski who is behind the wheel ahead of qualifying. Has found a nice improvement in the first sector. Obviously, their mission is to try and remain AM P1, and I must say he's doing a great job of that. 7th fastest as it stands, and finding yet more time again. Now, I've been chatting to Christian Kozlowski and looking back at his history, taking part in the Volkswagen Cup in years gone by. Zach Meakin has popped into the top 10 as well. Yet another McLaren 720S joining the party is now Christian Kozlowski. Pole, back behind the wheel, heading downhill with, well, hoping to seek an impressive lap time to bring or at least rein in the delta against the likes of Lucas Durno, Ralph Aaron as well further up. But bear in mind, like I said before, this is a car that will not be challenging the likes of the ProAm or the Pro cars here at the very top. But it is an improvement here for Kozlowski, just a second off the top as it stands. A great performance for Olymp.
Just been usurped by Artem Petrov in the 63 Oregon Lamborghini. There's going to be a bit of traffic here for Kozlowski on this lap, with Tom Emson is at the wheel of the number 17 Elite Motorsport Ferrari, and then rounding up Dominic Baumann there as well. So quite a bit of traffic heading the way of the Toro VIP hairpin, with 6.5 minutes left on the clock. Is that Alex Baumann, who's just come out of pit lane as well. Ralph Aaron on a decent lap here. It's a personal best in the first sector, just a 10th of a second away from what Fontana was able to do. And so the Get Speed Mercedes in that middle sector, trying to make it back-to-back pole positions for the Get Speed crew after Fabi Schiller managed to do so in the number 9 car yesterday. And it is another improvement in the middle sector. Doesn't look like it's going to be troubling the outright pole position, but this could put Ralph Aaron, the Estonian driver, onto the front row of the grid. As Aaron, another fastest final sector just came in for Alex Fontana, though, so he's gone even quicker, found another few hundreds, 1:42.45. That's the new benchmark for Ralph Aaron to try and hit. So is this going to be able to put him on the front row for Get Speed? Yes, it does. So the 82 goes second fastest, just a 10th of a second away from Fontana, who for the last 10 minutes or so has been the benchmark in this session, as we ride on board with Johannes Zalger and the Tsunami Racing Porsche. It's actually Fabio Babini qualifying that car, having just come out of GT Cup qualifying as well with their 992 Cup car. Artem Petrov, it's still 8th fastest in the Oregon Lamborghini. They always seem to struggle here in Portimao with this car, and it's not exactly the Lamborghini's strongest circuit. No. Maybe that's a benchmark for the Temamira when that gets introduced next year to see how it goes there. But they always say Spa, Hockenheim should be much stronger.
Yeah, I spoke to Jerry Canavisio, and just given the you know, Oregon have this ideology of bringing up young talent, you know, from the realms of Super Trofeo, for example, the Tepar Lamborghini Super Trofeo is Alex Fontana, once again going purple in the middle sector. He's found yet more time. He's a monster behind the wheel here today and has held the top spot for quite some time. Ralph Aaron tried to poke within that 1/10 of a second gap, but it just wasn't to be, just outside of it. But it was an impressive time from Ralph Aaron. But Fontana is looking to raise the benchmark. Already just over 2/10 up coming out of the middle sector, and the Swiss is looking to succeed once more. 4 minutes or so to go. Fontana across the line, another purple final sector, and a 1:39 to boot. The first that we have seen so far here today. Here comes Ralph Aaron once more as well. He's going to try and copy, or at least try and bring himself into 1:39 territory, though by that account there's only a few thousands in it. Here comes now Ralph Aaron up towards the line. Can he find anything? No, he can't. Dominic Baumann might, though. He has found green in the first two sectors, a personal best on both accounts. I'm sure Valentin Pierberg will be watching on with great interest as Tom Empson as well goes ninth fastest just behind Vincent Abril. Here comes Dominic Baumann up towards the line, second fastest, and topples Ralph Aaron, and Christopher Haase drops down to fourth.
Haase now back out of pit lane though, so we should be seeing him putting in a last gasp effort. Here's Levente Revesh, fourth fastest for the Motorpark car. So you've got SBS, Get Speed, and Motorpark all represented in the top four there. Three great Mercedes outfits that have had so much success with the marque. We're still waiting on Motorpark's first win since this event 2 years ago with Marco Sieber and Diego Menchaca.
You just feel that Fontana's holding a huge shield, keeping the Mercedes drivers at bay, with just he standing alone in a Porsche with car action. It's just fabulous scenes here. Porsche won, and then behind him, Mercedes, Mercedes, Mercedes.
Well, we're always taught the mid-engine cars seem to struggle a little bit more around here. So Haase being the top of the mid-engine cars in the Audi seems to be the outlier there. But the front-engine Mercedes, the rear-engine Porsche really do enjoy this circuit. Anthony Bartone up to 11th in the number 9 Get Speed car that was on pole position yesterday. That's for Bartone, that's pretty decent. We'll be used to seeing him start in the lower fringes of the top 20 when he qualifies the car. James Kell, yesterday's race winner, just popped up to 12th fastest as well. Alexei Nesov improving in the Dynamic GT Porsche as well. Fontana still not improving on this particular lap, but Baumann has in the first sector, and Haase's fastest in the middle sector as well. So Baumann lost time there in the final sector as Revesh goes up to 5th. Nesov improved to 4th. Sorry, it was Nesov there with the fastest middle sector, wasn't it? Not Christopher Haase, excuse me. So that Dynamic GT Porsche going up to the second row of the grid. So Porsche, Mercedes, Mercedes, Porsche, Mercedes in the top 5 as it stands. And that just proves our point, doesn't it? You want either front or rear engine cars at this track.
Yeah, Robert Visoyu also finding a personal best in the first and second sector as well. He's managed to muster 31.8 in the first, 32.2 in the second. So this should be somewhere around the realms of the top 7, I would imagine. Maybe looking to topple Levente Revesh, his fellow Motorpark teammate. Alexei Nesov finding 7,000 in the first sector as well. Dominic Baumann also with a personal best in the first sector. Baumann will look to take the fight to Fontana here in the closing stages, as will Alexei Nesov. There he is now, making his way around this next 300. Another improvement, no improvement in that middle sector. Lost a little bit of time, and unfortunately, we'll have to try and find and dig deep for something extra here in sector 3. We'll have time if he crosses the line to register one more lap. James Kell goes into 10th fastest. That's yesterday's race winner, back again inside the top 10. And Anthony Bartone has also found a personal best in the first sector as well. The timing screen is lighting mixing up green all over the place right now. Lucas Dunner also finding improvements in the first sector too, as now we watch as Baumann makes his way down through towards the line. Let's see if he can dig up anything through the final sector. The Mercedes is decent around this portion, not quite, unfortunately, losing out on this occasion, but he does have one last chance, Chris.
He does, just got over the line in time with a few seconds left to spare. Nessoff at that lap was going really, really strong. It was within a tenth in the middle sector, but seemed to fall away a little bit in the final sector, although it was still a personal best for the Russian driver, and so stays on the second row of the grid. Checkered flag is out. Fontana's in pit lane, so he's already decided that's all we've got, and now it is Haase fastest in the middle sector and a personal best in the first sector as well. So can the reigning champion spoil the party here for car collection? This is the Santalog Audi. Wait and see where Christopher Haase comes out across the timing line. He's somewhere in that third sector, and just keeping an eye on the timing screen to see when he comes over the line. Here he is in the #1 East Talent Racing Audi, up towards the timing line. And is this going to be a pole position time? No, loses time in the final sector. So it is second row for Haase, but I'm sure they'll still consider that a win. It seems to me that the Porsche has made most of its time in that final sector, because I don't think I've seen anyone get within 3/10 of what Fontana was able to do there.
Not at all. Just a blistering run from Fontana, and they're going to celebrate at Car Collection. A fabulous job by the team. I'm sure Hash will be absolutely delighted with that. Again, the fun continues after taking a Class P2 yesterday in Pro-Am. Wonderful job by the Swiss driver, and we'll be starting on the front row. Dominic Baumann also finding personal improvements as well in accordance to our timing screen. In fact, coming out of the middle sector, he has found a personal best. So well done him. Has just taken the checkered flag. No improvement, obviously, from P2. It's still Fontana on top. But checkered flag out here at Portimao.
139.966 was the benchmark that no one could topple. Alex Fontana puts it on pole position for the car collection crew. Pro-Am cars 1 and 2. And so that's going to be an interesting dynamic in the second part of the race, with the pro cars seemingly having to try and work their way through, although both of those cars at the front will have to take handicap after their podium finishes in class yesterday. Let's run through the full results. It's Alex Fontana on top for car collection Porsche, Dominic Baumann for SPS in second, Ralph Aaron for Get Speed in third position, ahead of Christopher Haase, with Alexei Nessoff in the guest-entered Dynamic GT Porsche, Lucas Dunner third of the Pro-Am runners for Motorpark, then Levente Revesh's teammate just behind him. Zach Meakin, the GT4 graduate for Optimum Motorsport, in 8th. Vincent Abril is filling in for Jamie Stanley this weekend at AF Corsa. He's 9th. James Kell, yesterday's race winner, will go from 10th position for the Greystone GT. And pole position going to Christian Kozlowski in the #5 Olymp Ferrari, ahead of Tom Empson and Anthony Bartone. Artem Petrov fell away a little bit there at the end. It's only 14th for him. Robert Visoyu for Motorpark. Fabio Babini in the Pro-Am Tsunami car, Amory Bondwell, Carl Bennett, Michele Rugolo, second of the Am runners, and Robin Rogalski in the second of the Oregon cars in 20th position. Behind them, we have a flurry of Pro-Am cars. There's Dexter Muller for SPS, Michael Blanchimont for Santalog, Ivan Velasco, his first ever GT3 qualifying for Mertel in 23rd position, Stephen Grove for Iron Lynx, Mark Sampson in the third of the Am cars from Garage 59, Marcin Jedlinski, Emir Naran, Alfredo Hernandez, Torvald Gisarin and Aaron Walker in 30th.
Fontana, pole position for race 2 in Portimao. It's been a great weekend so far, very fast, a lot of pace, and now the pole.
Yeah, it's been a great weekend. I think it's the result of all the hard work we did last year. We had 3 cars in car collection, so we could really share a lot of setup and data, and we kept trying to improve. Then during the winter season, we worked a lot in Asian Le Mans Series, and Ash, my teammate that is only in his second season, could progress. And given the tires are the same, we could really develop a bit the setup. And I would say compared to last year, it's mostly the car that has improved in drivability. It was fast already last year, but not quite to be on pole. So today we were just ahead, and I think it's the result of all these months of working. We're talking about tenths, but it's still enough to be in front.
And for you, it must be a great satisfaction as a driver, as a coach, what can happen this afternoon?
Well, for me, it's for sure great. As a professional freelancer without manufacturer support, I'm happy that I can drive the same car for the third season now. So I start to learn the Porsche very well. And it's great to see somebody coming out of my racing school with GT4 now drive fast and get podium in GT Open. That is one of the most high-level championship in GT3 in the world right now. So the race is another story. I have some very fast drivers around me. So I will try to have a good start and get going from there with always an eye on our class result. That is most important.
All the best and well done for now.
Thank you very much.
Lights out for race 2 of the International GT Open this weekend is at 1:15 local time. We'll check in with you then.